This is WFO Radio.
Hey, everybody. We are back. Our WFO Radio Super Show Results Edition, Western Swing, Race 1, the Dodge SRT, Mile High National. We got everybody on this one, man. We got Matt Hagan just seconds away. We got Matt Smith. We got Gary Pritchett. Alan Reinhart was very annoyed that he missed yesterday's show. We're going to get him back. And we got Mike Carpenter from Drag Illustrated, all coming up. So I'm going to move fast because we got so many great guests. And right at the start of the show, had a little bit of a weird technical difficulty on my end. So if you're not out there on social or one of our channels, just switch to another one. Then again, if you're not hearing me, how could you hear me say that? Right? We'll just do our best. Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology. 40% of your engine's friction comes from your piston rings. Did you know that? I know you did because you listen to the Hidden Horsepower podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Total Seal has the most high-tech of rings to help lower that number as low as is possible. Check them out, totalseal.com. My buddy, Marvin Rodak, who is a fan of Matt Hagan from way back, 817-924-6821. Marvin Rodak, coffeeandgrills.com, hot sauces and spice rubs, everything good. Check out Rodak's. Go to the website, rodakscoffeeandgrills.com. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. But, you know, the stuff you can use can help build spacecraft as well. Think about all the students learning to use CNC machines, programming, machining for a great future. Think about those people and all the potential jobs that are going to be just in this fun field of space tourism that we're seeing over the past couple of days. Pretty amazing. And Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure at frankhawley.com. You can drive a dragster. Courses start at $399. All the greats tell me that they started at Frank Hawley's. Why would you not go there for a fun day-long experience driving dragsters? Oh, yes, frankhawley.com. All right, let's get to our guest. He is the winner of the Dodge SRT Mile High Nationals out there in funny car, Mr. Matt Hulk Hagan. What's up, Matt? How are you?
I'm great, man. Hey, you was going through the list of your sponsors there, and
yeah.
You know, with my beef company where we sell beef across the country to everyone out there, you know, that Rodax Spices and Grill, man, you got to get us linked up. Let's do some B2B business there. I think that'd be great. I always get hit up, you know, I mean, people love our beef and our hamburger and our steaks, but they're like, man, you guys offer sauces. So here we go, man. Let's make this happen.
Hear that, Marvin? Marvin is out there. We'll definitely get you together. This guy is I'm going to be pitching Marvin back to you, right? Wonderful man. He's won awards. He's been on TV for his grilling. So, yeah, we'll definitely, you know how I love the B2B deal going on. So that is great. Matt, you were so happy winning this race. You've been happy at other times in your career. Don't get me wrong. But this one was special. The pressure was on to win at the Dodge race. You'd wanted it so long, and you finally got it. How does it feel?
Man, my heart was beating out of my chest in the finals. It's like I felt like I was running for a championship. You know, I mean, that race has been so special and so important to our sponsors over the years. They've been, I guess, over 30 years they've sponsored the Bannermeres and Mile High, and whether it's been Mopar or Dodge SRT, it's always been that relationship there. So I've been carrying, I would say, the flagship, the banner for Mopar and for Dodge SRT for the last almost 15 years, you know. So you're kind of expected to win that race, you know, and Mile High is just so tricky. You know, you never know what you're going to get. You know, the cars don't sound right up there. They don't run right up there. It's hard to keep cylinders lit up there. We've gone up there and blown up a lot of parts. So, you know, getting to the final and getting to that opportunity to where, you know, it's your moment and you get to capitalize on it and everything's got to go right and everything's running through your head. Yeah, man, I was pumped when that win light came on. I mean, it's something that you've kind of like, you want so bad every time you go up there. Don't get me wrong, I want every race so bad. You know, I'm very passionate about winning and you know, making sure that I capitalize and do my job on my guys that have put me in that position to do that. But this was just such a special race. And for our sponsors to be there and Mark Whitney and all the corporate folks from Dodge, it was just amazing, you know. And so it was just a huge race for me. And yeah, I felt the pressure, man. That's for sure. I mean, I was like, man, you gotta calm down. You gotta slow your heart rate down and slow your breathing down. You're gonna hyperventilate. But you know, that's what makes this so great. You know, the adrenaline and the emotion and the want and the drive to go out there and turn those win lights on.
Absolutely. Well, it was not. There were buy runs, but it was not an easy day, and that you had a good car and cutting through the field. But once you got, your buy run, the competition couldn't have been tougher right through to the final round. So talk a little bit about some of those runs, going up against Caps, going up against the Lexus, going up against tough competition on the mountain. And you had a car that was the class of the field, though. Whatever Dickie and Alex and those guys were doing, they were emotional too. But just talk a little bit about rising to the occasion in that moment.
Yeah, I think we kind of ran the tables. We were number one qualifier, which allowed us to have a bye run, second round. But to go up there and lay a 96 down on the mountain, that's the best we've ever done. So we definitely kind of threw it down. I guess Alexis was like a 98 behind us there, but Dickie, man, he just threw it down on the mountain, and we ran the tables with it. I think we were low for every round that we ran against anyone, or for the whole session, I believe it was. So that's a statement in itself up there on the mountain. And Caps is all. First of all, the guy ran first round. What was his name? Do you know?
Chris, let me bring up the ladder. And we did it. It kind of was interesting in that we had so many folks out there that were taking advantage of the opportunity to get on the mountain and get out there and do it. And I'll tell you what, it was good to see. And obviously in Top Fuel, Joey Haas is able to go out there and go right to the final round. But Chris King, the firefighter, Chris
King, so Chris is an exceptionally good guy. I wanted to just take a moment and touch on that. This guy come over to my pit before we ran. He said, "Hey, I'm a new driver. I don't know what to expect. I've never taken this car down the racetrack. Yada yada yada." Super, super good guy. Someone like that, I'm exceedingly proud to have in our sport. As a firefighter, he's one of those like SWAT team firefighters. They send him into all the bad stuff when nobody else wants to go in there. And some of the stories he was telling was unbelievable what he does. He brought around a helmet for us all to sign to give to this donation where these kids get burned up and burn victims and different things like that. So someone like that, man, I have nothing but respect for. He's a super great guy. He kept coming over every round, and was like, fist bumping me, glad to be in the sport. He's like, basically he's like, I want to go racing. He's like, I don't, one of those things, I'm a firefighter, but I don't know where the money's going to come from, but he's like, I'm dying with dreams and not wishes. You know what I mean? And dying with memories and not dreams, I guess is what he was saying.
Wow. But, that's a good statement.
Yeah. Oh man, just a great guy. You know what I mean? So I was like, brother, if you ever need anything, ever, you please come to the pit, come grab me, whatever it is. But people like that, that's what drag racing is all about. They're just love and passionate. They're not buttholes, I guess is the best way to say it.
Drag racers, not buttholes.
Yeah, right, yeah. But it's just good, genuine, good-hearted, salt of the earth people, man. And that's what I love, you know what I mean? And people like that, you just want to help out any way you can, But anyway, moving on to, I guess, third round when we ran Caps. Caps is always tough, man. Me and him ran each other during qualifying about every run, and we were leaving on time together. He was seeing the lights the same as I was, and I was like, Caps always steps it up a little bit, on race day. So I was like, man, I knew I was going to have to step it up against Caps and cut a good light against him. And Caps is a great wheel man, and he's going to keep it in the groove, and he's going to do his job. So it really kind of came down to between Dickie, and as long as me and him were seeing the lights the same we were in qualifying, we were going to have pretty close reaction time, which I think we did. And basically, it comes down to just Dickie and Caps' tuner over there, Guido, throwing down and see who could throw down the hardest, and Dickie come out on top. So it was that round could have really went either way, and so I'm glad we were able to edge by Caps there. They got a good solid team, that's Beckman's old car and crew and everything else, and Beckman gave us a run for the championship last year, so it's there. So there's no real easy draws in Funny Car by no means. And then you have Alexis in the final, and man, that girl's got grit, brother. I have so much respect for her. She has so much grit. I mean, she's going out here and hit the wall and knocked herself out and crawled back in this thing and wants to be here when she could be probably sitting on a boat somewhere drinking Mai Tais and enjoying the sun somewhere in some tropical place, but she's crawling in a Fuel Funny car, sweating her ass off. What really kind of like did it for me is I went over there to shake her hand before we got in the car. And you could tell this girl just wants it, man. Like she was praying, and she grabbed my hand up so hard and was so excited to she's like, let's go do this. And hell, it gave me chill bumps, and I was like, it fired me up. So, I mean, it was just one of those things where I love Alexis. She's becoming a great driver. She's doing a great job out there, and I always enjoy racing her, you know.
Absolutely. No, I agree. And let's take a second to watch the final round between you and Alexis. On the call, Brian Loans, Tony Pedregon, final round, Dodge SRT Mile High Nationals. Here we go.
Alexis has a cylinder out at the step of the throttle, and Matt Hagan delivers the goods. His first win of the season in front of his sponsors. 410.5, 305.7 miles an hour, and Dickie Venables is smiling wide.
Both of these drivers, you can see that car rocking. That's odd. I was going to say, it started to develop a harmonic balance. I think Matt's doing that on his own. He's got the strength, the ability to do that maybe few of the other funny car drivers can. But both these drivers are very hungry for a win. You could see Don Schumacher with a smile on his face. And it was a very beatable 410. They fell off, but for Alexis, her problems set in early in the run.
And Matt Hagan snagging the camera, coming out of the top of that car like a cage gorilla. As he climbs out, he'll slide down the side of the body. Wow.
How awesome is that? I love what you were doing with the rock in the car. We hadn't seen that. You freaked Tony out a little bit. He panicked.
Shaking that monkey off my back, man. Shaking that monkey off my back, you know?
That's great. No, that's so great. And you deserve it. The Dodge people. Okay, let's talk about like what we experienced with the race and the fans and the people. We've been to a lot of great races. I know you've had a lot of love from the fans, and the whole Dodge thing is a big deal. But this one, to me, felt different and special. There was an energy that I hadn't experienced, probably because we hadn't been there the year before. What was your experience like?
Man, I mean, it was amazing because the stands were packed, and it was like we were back to old school racing again, you know, pre-COVID. And you know, people stayed after on the winner's circle, and they, you know, I made sure, like, you know, they want to rush you up to media, and I'm just like, absolutely not. Media can wait. You know what I mean? Like, these people want to stay and take pictures with the trophy and the Wally, and they get to touch it, and they're staying over. And you know, it's just like, that's what is important to me. You know what I mean? And they're always grabbing me, going like, oh, we gotta go, we gotta get this press stuff out. I'm like, sorry, press can come down here, but we're taking pictures with this Wally and these fans. And you know, it's just it was an amazing energy, an amazing vibe to do a burnout. And there's no place to stand, there's no place to sit. It's just people packed in there in every place that they can get. And hats off to you know, the Bandamers and Sporty for going out there and promoting and putting on a great show, and also, you know, going out there and doing what you need to do to pack that house. But the love up there for Mopar and for Dodge SRT and just, you know, muscle cars and power, it's there, man. Like, it's built in there. They love that. You know, they want to be a part of it. You know, there were so many people bummed about the block party. I think that was the only thing that everybody kind of missed out on this year was the block party. And you know what, we're going to do it up big and large next year and have a big time there. But the energy, the chemistry, the everything that was there this last weekend was just pure amazing.
Amazing. No, I agree. The block party, I didn't get in until Friday, so it didn't affect me, but I know everybody loves that event, and it really sets the tone for that race. Next year, it will be back. Things will be different. It was great. All right, got a couple questions from people out there. Todd, I guess, is a big fan. He says you and your brother have inadvertently helped them with the CBD. Thank you, but he wants to know if you still burn the tires on the cars on your dad's lot. So he's outing you a little bit on that.
Yeah. No, not so much. I mean, I do if, you know, but they just gave me a new Hellcat this year to play around with, obviously turn it back in next year, company car. So, and that being said, you know, with a $90,000 vehicle, I've already got one ticket, and my son took our side by side and backed into it and did $5 grand worth of damage. So me and street cars and fast stuff, other than a pickup truck, is probably not doing the best right now. So I'm gonna leave my dad's lot alone. You know, probably have some bad juju there or something. I don't know what's going on, but all I know is me and a pickup truck get along pretty good. I ain't had no issues out of that, so I'm gonna kind of keep right like what I'm in now. You know, just out here farming a little bit. But do I love coming up through that and being able to grab cars off the lot, the used car lot, and come back and, you know, tires be off of them and tranny be out and my old man mad at me because I brought something back that he's got to sell and now fix and stuff like that. That was just awesome memories. And being able to run out here to these local tracks. I have a 69 Dart sitting in my garage that, I don't know whenever my run is done, but I definitely plan on running it. It's got a 4-speed Liberty in it, and you see blue sky on second gear, and it's just something that's really cool and really special. And I'm gonna race in some way, shape, or form until I'm not physically able to. Whether it's a fuel car, or a bracket car, or hell, we'll line some lawnmowers up here and see what we can do.
I love it. I love it. Marvin Rodak out there says, bring it on. He is down for a little Matt Hagan beef Rodak's hot sauce spice rub B2B connection. So we'll make that happen. All right, let's do that. Let's look ahead to Sonoma, the Western Swing. We always make a big deal about sweeping the swing. This is kind of a different swing because we are going to Pomona after Sonoma. Everything that I'm hearing about Sonoma, those people are excited to see us as well. Only one driver gets to sweep the swing in each category. You've got a shot. And Dickie, man, I got to tell you, I know you know it, but he got emotional on the starting line. I went and talked to him. I was like, hey, man, you've won a lot of races. Why'd you get so emotional here? And he said, this one is so hard. People don't understand. It is so hard to win on the mountain. I'd never won on the mountain. He had now won on the mountain, and he looks charged up. That's my assessment. Tell me about Sonoma.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, rolling into Sonoma, I think that, Dickie has a great baseline right now. I mean, going back through several qualifyings, the last couple, we were 1-3, 1 here. We tried some stuff early, and, no different than anything. If you don't try something, you don't learn. You could hit it on the head, and it'd be amazing, but we tried something the first 4 races. It didn't work out for us, and people were kind of like, I guess, expecting us to come out like gangbusters and set the world on fire like we did last year.
Oh, look at that. We lost your audio, Matt. We lost your audio. Your audio is still gone. You're pulling a Reinhart, right? You can sort it out. You know what? Go back. Just come back in. Like, I'm going to kick you out. Come back in. Like, kick him out and come back in. And while we have this brief second, and Mike Carpenter from Drag Illustrated is going to be up next, and I see Matt Smith is going to be on. We've got just like a loaded show. But, we had a weird technical issue on the Facebook, in our Facebook page, WFO Radio, NHRA Drag Racing, NASCAR, and Motorsports Podcast page. I've been really trying to shift people to the YouTube channel. Maybe this will be what and is the reason most people do it. We've got people watching in our Facebook group as well, but reasons unknown. But they don't know that I'm saying that because they're not watching because we had a technical issue. But we will have Matt momentarily. He's going to come right back in. And what happens is when you get a call or a text or something and you're on the live stream, sometimes it knocks out your audio. But we've got a big show and we're going to keep on going. So share the show and switch over to YouTube. Those of you who are wondering why it's not working on Facebook, let's see if you can improvise and adapt and overcome. And we shall see. We shall see. See you in Dallas, champ, says Todd. And I love what Matt has to say about Marvin Rodak and Rodak's Coffee and Grills.com. Very interesting. All right. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm very excited about our guests here today. I think Matt may be unable to reconnect for one reason or another. So I'm going to forge forward. And we are just going to continue on and talk a little bit about something that is going on right now. They just dropped it yesterday. The new cover of Drag Illustrated magazine featuring Matt's Dodge teammate at DSR, Leah. And here to join us to talk about it. And if Matt comes back, we'll bring him on and Mike will be able to say hello to Matt. Mike Carpenter from Drag Illustrated magazine. Mike, hello. Welcome. You got to see Matt. Hey, kind of interesting end to his call, but we're going to keep it on. And you know what? Matt is coming right back in right now. So you're going to stay on with me and we're going to say goodbye to Matt together. Mike Carpenter from Drag Illustrated is joining us.
What's up, Matt? I knew Matt before he was famous, back when he raced Pro Mod. He raced my old man in Pro Mod. We actually would go up to his track, Motor Mile. The Motor Mile, what was it? What was the series called that you guys had?
It was a Mean 16.
Mean 16. At Motor Mile, and we used to race Matt. Then he got famous and went playing car racing.
They kicked the crap out of us is what it was. That's why I had to switch classes because y'all kicked the crap out of us all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
He's gotten big in the media though now, Matt. He's like the behind the scenes media guy, keeping it, his dad was like Pro Mod Godfather, and he is behind the scenes at Drag Illustrated. I wanted to give you thank you for coming back on, Matt. Final thought on Sonoma and anything you want to say to your fans out there before we let you go.
Yeah, final thought on Sonoma. I really think that we can click these next couple races off. It's hard to do to win a couple in a row like that. We all know that. But at the end of the day, I have nothing but confidence in Dickie Venables and our crew. Saw so much, blood, sweat, and just emotion over the weekend with the altitude and what my guys did in the crew and in the pit area. So I know the grit's there to get it done. But for our fans, it's all about our fans, and put on a show for them. And they support our sponsors, and we can't do that without them. We can't be out here doing it. So always much love to our fans that support what we do. And you guys have an amazing day. I'm going to go get back on the tractor. My phone cut off because it was in the heat. That tells you how hot it is out here. It says it's in emergency mode. So I was over here trying to blow on my phone and put it in the air conditioner. So anyway, it's hot. I'm going to go sweat. You guys have fun. Thanks for the love, guys. We'll see you soon.
Way to go, Matt. Thank you very much. We'll see you, Matt. Appreciate you. Thank you very much, Mike. My apologies, but now we know it was all Matt's fault, which is good.
That's right.
That's
Matt's a good guy. We got to give Matt a shout out and his family's company, Sheeler Motor Mile. They're actually one of the first major advertisers in Drag Illustrated. If you look back at some of the original issues of the magazine, they actually had a small spot on the cover, and I think they had a spread or a full page ad inside the magazine. So big Matt Hagan fans around here. Great family.
Love him. And he's, when he wins races, he's got his fans. That's the thing. It's like, it's got to move around, right? It can't always be the same people. It's got to move around, keep those fans happy. So we're going to talk about the new edition, the latest episode, causing some just energy, good, bad, or otherwise. Tony Stewart, Leah Pruitt on the cover. You guys put it together. It's your State of the Drag Racing episode. But real quick, you mentioned your dad. Tell us about your background. And you've been with Drag Illustrated a long time. Wes is like the energetic face of the company. You and I have worked together in the past. Yeah. You are dutifully working and have chosen like drag racing life out of the spotlight.
Yeah, it's interesting. Wes and I always joke that we're yin and yang. We're total opposites, but we get together and we see a lot of things the same way, and we work together well. So, been in racing my whole life. My dad, Charles Carpenter, is referred to a lot of times as the godfather of Pro Mod. He was one of the originators of the class and nitrous racing, or the use of nitrous in drag racing. So been around it. Actually, I guess I thought I was going to end up pursuing that same path, but right after I went to Frank Hawley's drag racing school in 2007 to get my license, I met Wes. And he shared his vision for the magazine, of course, his enthusiasm and his infectious way that he presents everything. So I was in, and I've designed nearly every issue of the magazine since then. So we're at nearly 150 issues in. The newest issue with Tony and Leah is actually DI 169. So we're getting up there. We're pretty proud of that. We're pretty proud to obviously continue to be able to print a magazine through all the ups and downs of the industry, through obviously last year with the pandemic. So print, obviously, if it's done right, is still thriving. But we've had to weather that storm as well. So we're really proud of this new issue. Dropped it yesterday. And like you said, lots of energy, lots of buzz, good or bad, indifferent. But that's kind of what we do at Drag Illustrated.
Well, exactly. And, it's been no secret about Tony, but the fact that you guys and Nate, I love Nate Van Wagenen. He is great and has been really good to me over the years. Got to sit down with Tony and Leah and talk a little bit about, how it came together, Tony's thoughts on drag racing, his understanding and appreciation. Me having worked on the NASCAR side many years ago at NASCAR Radio on XM, Tony and I were like rookies at the same time. In 1999, I was starting my first radio show and did a bit with him in South Florida. He does not remember this, of course, but I would imagine that would be crazy insane. But watching his career arc, and I know that he's a guy who prides himself on being like AJ Foyt and driving anything. And so over the years, I've been asking him, like, dude, and here it is. And it has now happened, and he's driven a top fuel dragster. But he's Tony Stewart. It wasn't easy to put this whole thing together. Tell us a little bit about how you had to work on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, Tony's reputation precedes him in the motorsports world. And I actually, being from the Charlotte area, born and raised, I've witnessed his NASCAR exploits firsthand, and have always, followed his career closely. I can even remember how big of a deal it was to see him do the double, the Indy 500 and Coca-Cola 600 double. I think that was in the early 2000s. So a guy that just a real racer at heart, a total wheelman. And we actually just saw that again with his new series, SRX. He wins the inaugural championship in the SRX series. So obviously the guy knows what he's doing, and will just drive anything. So I don't think it's a huge surprise to see him venture into drag racing. But there's just it's a unique thing. I think it really speaks to drag racing, the allure of it, and it's a powerful thing for drag racing to grab onto, to have someone like Tony Stewart who has done it all and who can do whatever he wants to do at this point in his life and in his career, chooses to strap into a top fuel dragster with his fiance as his guide. So we really set out to tell that story. How did this come about? Not necessarily a love story or a romance story. I don't think that that's really our story to tell, but how this came about and what went on behind the scenes to get Tony into a top fuel dragster. Turns out he's wanted to do it for a while, and due to his commitments in NASCAR and other things, he couldn't, contractually could not do it, or it didn't make sense at the time. But he has done it now, and his respect for it, obviously a true racer at heart, but his respect for drag racing and his respect for drag racers, I think, is a unique aspect that came out in Nate Van Wagenen's interview with him. He even goes so far to say, obviously everyone thinks that the next step in Tony's career is to field a top fuel dragster, to drive a dragster for Don Schumacher Racing. And everyone has asked him, even Don Prudhomme, who is actually one of his mentors or advisors that has kind of guided him through this drag racing experience as well. He asked him, did you get your license? Are you licensed? That's what everyone wants to know after he went to Frank Hawley's. And he said, I could, but I didn't get my license because I feel like I haven't earned it yet. And that would be disrespectful to the thousands of drag racers that are setting out to do this for a career and to make this their life, for me to just jump in, go get my license to say that I have it, and then never go drag racing. So he doesn't want to even get his license until he's ready to actually go drag racing. And I just thought that if you're not a Tony Stewart fan, or you have a preconceived notion about him, especially as it relates to putting a NASCAR star on the cover of a drag racing magazine, read the interview, read the article, and then see if your mind isn't changed, because it's very candid, very in-depth, and that's something that we take a lot of pride in as well, that they trusted us with this story to tell it the right way, and to also provide a lot of this insight and details to our readers. So great story. And I encourage everyone to go read it. If you're not a subscriber already, go to digital.dragillustrated.com, or just go to dragillustrated.com, and you'll see on the right-hand side, you can click to read the full issue for free. So yeah, before you pass any judgment or anything, definitely check out the story.
Okay, this is WFO. Okay, our people are like good people who don't pass judgment. We have all the ones that do. No, when you said it, for everybody that knows, and I see Matt Smith, you're down there. You'll be up next in just a couple of seconds. You had mentioned to me that, like, I was stunned that there was any negative feedback at all. Like, that blew me away. But then again, I'm this, positive, optimistic character that get kicked around a little bit by that. Like, how could this be negative in any way on the planet, right? You got Tony Stewart, who is the racer's racer. superstar. So much attention comes with him. But I've been watching him out there for this whole experience, just kind of quietly monitoring his situation. He wants to blend in. He wants to learn. I talked to him after the race. He's like, hey, man, I just don't want to get run over by anybody out there, right? He is treating this with extreme respect for what's going on out there, because he knows this is a different discipline of racing. Everybody is extremely serious about it. It's not easy. Why on earth would a drag racing fan not be welcoming to that? I think it's insane.
I think it's insane as well, but I think that because drag racing has always sort of had to play little brother to NASCAR, I think that there's a little bit of pushback in that regard. And obviously being here in Charlotte and knowing a lot of these NASCAR guys and kind of witnessing that phenomenon firsthand, I expected this. And Tony is a polarizing figure, but I think that that's by design. He knows what he's doing, and we need more polarizing figures in drag racing. That is something that we encourage at Drag Illustrated. That's the stories that we gravitate toward and that we try to tell. Not everyone can be super PC and perfect all the time. Having some flaws, or being a flawed hero, or whatever the situation may be, showing your human side while also going to do superhuman acts on the drag strip or on the NASCAR track, I think is what makes people relate to you and gravitate toward you. So again, that's what we do at Drag Illustrated. Those are always the stories that we're eager to tell, rather than sort of the surface level story. And I hope that our readers appreciate that. And I hope that they pick up a copy or go to our website and check it out.
Absolutely. And I just got the digital edition right now, and I was reading the story, and it's great. And you guys do a great job. Hey, you know what I'm going to do, Mike, before I let you go?
Sure.
Since you've got such a connection to Pro Mod, nitrous oxide, I see Matt down there. I'm going to bring on Matt Smith, and we'll do like a passing the baton, right? Since Matt, you and Matt, and here he is. Motorcycle owner, Matt Smith. I want WFO to be like this fun meeting place of all these different people and personalities, and we got it. What's up, Matt? How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Real good, real good. Now I know you guys know each other, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, our dads know each other. They're best of friends off the track and biggest rivals on the track, I think you could say.
Right. And that's why it's like, all right, now that we've done the important stuff about the magazine, let's bring on Matt Smith and Mike and just have a little, you guys got any stories before we talk about Matt's win? And Mike, before I let you go, any stories from back in the day that people would appreciate? Like, I'm going to let Matt Smith go first.
Go ahead, Matt.
Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I think our dads, we grew up around the nitrous oxide and the racing, and, we kind of grew up together around that whole deal. And, I knew of Mike, but I didn't know him. Like, we didn't hang out all the time and all that stuff. But no, he's doing a great job at Drag Illustrated. Angie was on the cover the previous month, and a special edition for her. And our fathers kind of raced together the whole time. And I know Mike's retiring now, and I think my dad's, he's got to be getting close to retiring. He says it every year, but he's got to be getting close. But all in all, it's a good deal. We're proud. I'm proud to be associated with the nitrous and the Pro Mod cars. All
right, Mike, your shot.
Yeah, I have to give Ricky a shout out. Ricky, when my dad had his stroke, and it was very, touch and go, or very concerning there for quite a while. And when my dad was in the hospital and in rehab, Ricky made the trip. I don't know how far it was to actually go spend several hours with my dad and visited him and talked racing in the rehab facility. And I know that's something that we'll never forget for a guy like Ricky, who is a tough competitor, as formidable as they come. But he's obviously, a great guy and a caring guy off the track. So that meant a lot to my dad. And I wanted to give Ricky and Matt a shout out on that.
Way to go, Mike. No, awesome. Well, Matt Hagan said it at the start, like this whole drag racing community, this is what happens when people take up the sport that is so challenging. They become really great people, hardworking people. Mike, thank you very much. We're all going to check out the episode, the edition Drag Illustrated online. We're going to let you go. Final thought for the audience.
Looking forward to the Western Swing. Sonoma, I think, is always one of my favorite races just because of the atmospheric conditions. You always get a ton of records, and I love the Western Swing. I really think it's sort of like the marathon. It really brings out the best in these guys, and you see guys go on championship runs after the Western Swing. So looking forward to this weekend.
I agree. Can't wait. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, and we'll see you down the road, Mike.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks, Matt.
There we
See
go.
you, Mike.
Mike Carpenter from Drag Illustrated, been there for a long time. No, Wes does not do the entire magazine all by himself, guys. Like, he's got a staff of great people, and it is awesome. What's up, Matt Smith? How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. You caught me out here on the road, and
Where are you?
the whole. I'm actually at Boomtown. I'm at a KOA campground, and we're hanging out, washing clothes, and just relaxing for a couple of days, preparing ourselves for the Sonoma race.
I love it. I love it. So, okay, you're on a little bit of a run right now. Things are going well. The bike is running quick. You've won a couple of races, and from the outside looking in, all things are well at Matt Smith Racing. You tell me.
Yeah, our team's on full go right now, and I mean we're running really good between me, Angie, Scotty. Scotty's bike is down just a little bit in performance, but he should have his good motor back in for this race at Sonoma. And man, with me and Angie being number 1 and 2 at Denver, I mean, you could possibly see a 1, 2, and 3 at Sonoma, by our bikes. I think they're that strong right now. And if I do my job tuning and all 3 riders do their job riding Friday night, we could do that, and that would be monumental for our team. But just to be running like we are, Denzo supporting us and Lucas Oil, I mean, that's why we're running so good.
Amazing stuff. No, it's been fun to watch, and everybody was having a good time. Let's talk about your round by round, and then I'm going to show you a disturbing photograph, and it'll be great. It'll be great. You got the by-run first round. You had to run. Well, I guess now is the time for the disturbing photograph.
Oh, yeah. Corey
Reed, in the second round, he decides to just surprise everybody with this. What was your reaction to this? Corey Reed shaving off the top of his head and giving himself a very unusual old man haircut.
Yeah, I thought it was like Bad Grandpa, you see on some of the movies. I thought Corey they had a role going in that, but no, it was all good. And, I don't know if they were, he said he was trying to shave his head and do a funny haircut and try to get some of my stuff to rub off on him. But, I guess the hair is going good. Mama Lisa likes it, and we're going to keep rocking it right now.
Yeah, well, we said that after you signed off last week, because now you've been on a couple of weeks in a row, and that's what happens with WFO, guys. If you're a new listener, they earn their way on. Like, if Matt and I get in a big disagreement, like he wins the race, he still gets to come on and call me out because you win your way on the show, and the hair is getting a lot of credit for it. Corey Reed trying to capitalize and get in on it. You know what's funny though, Matt? Let's see what you know about. This is not the most disturbing photograph to come out of Denver. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
You didn't see the Flying Ryan with the chips photograph?
No, I didn't see that.
You're very lucky, man. You are so lucky, a very lucky man. I'm sure you'll see it in Sonoma. It is crazy stuff. It is next level stuff. But then you get by Corey and you got to run Andrew. And you got to run Andrew and Eddie back to back now. And those guys are trying to climb up the points. They missed some races. We talked about it last week, and it's what you said. They're going to come storming up the points. They got quick bikes. They're champion drivers. But clash of titans, right? You and Andrew, but you just overwhelmed both of them with the performance.
Yeah, I mean, they got good stuff. I mean, they just haven't hit the tune-up yet this year like they need to. They got just as much power as we do. They got our body style now, so they have the aerodynamics, and, it's just a matter of time before they get their stuff together, and they're right there with us. I mean, Eddie's running speed with us, but they're just not running the ET, and Andrew's bike's just a little bit behind. But, they got a good group. And even on Jill's bike, that Suzuki bike, I mean, the Suzuki of Joey and Corey and Steve and even Jerry's going to be out there before long if he gets his stuff right. I mean, we're going to have our hands tough. We're going to have it full, and I'm looking forward to the challenge because I'm ready. I'm ready to battle these guys, and we're going for 5. We're going for 5 championships, and that's our goal right now. And I think we're the team to beat, and we know we got a target on our back, and that's what we're shooting for.
Monica says congratulations to you and the team. Angie says that you're not washing anything. Things are being washed, but it's not you that's washing them.
Yeah, well, I went in there to help, and then I had to do this. So I come outside to give the fans some lovely scenery out here in the mountains, and I figured they'd rather see that than inside of a laundromat.
I agree. We all agree, and it turns out that, Matt, we're saving you from doing laundry. No wonder you said yes so rapidly. Hey, let's watch the final round against Eddie. Brian Loans and Tony Pedregon on the call. Here we go.
Matt Smith is the class of the field. The reaction time's only spread by 0.004. Unless the crank falls out of that motorcycle, Matt Smith has got one rung up here. 7:11.8, 189 miles an hour. Krawick makes a very quick 7:17, 189 mile an hour blast. Coming out of this event, Matt Smith, by rights, should be able to win the next two if the bike keeps running like that.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Really, the only bike that was able to compete early on in qualifying was Steve Johnson. Of course, we saw his exodus in the second round. But look at Matt Smith, the way they gear these bikes, he's getting through the shifts a lot quicker than they would, say, at sea level. Sonoma will be much different, but hard to compete with him on a weekend like this.
Hard to compete with him on a weekend like this. They basically said they chalked you up for the Western Swing, the first true, genuine Western Swing for the bikes. Talk a little bit about that as a secondary goal, other than championship and winning races. Like, that would be special.
Yeah, it'd be definitely special. I mean, the bikes have never had 3 races in a row out here. We've had 2. I think in 07 or 08, I won both races out here. So I count it as a mini swing. But this is the full swing. And if we can get it done, we can go into history books as being to do it, and maybe the only time of doing it, because we don't know if we'll ever come back out here and run 3 in a row. But our goal is to go take one race at a time. We know we'll be fast at Sonoma. We're going to put our good motor in for Sonoma, and that was a motor that wasn't one of our best motors, but it ran good, and something I wanted to try. But the good motor we ran at Gainesville and Norwalk is going back in for Sonoma, and we're going to see if we can go to 3 in a row.
See, that just made everybody very upset. Like, what? That wasn't even the good engine? Because it was the mountain engine, obviously.
Well, it's one that's been under the bench all last year, and we decided to run it because...
Oh, somebody texted him. That's what happened. We just lost you for a second. Your audio. Your audio. We can't hear you. That's my signal when I want to tell somebody they can't. You just connect. Just come back right back in, just like Hagan. We'll kick you out and come right back in. Yeah, it's just happens. Now's the time where I tell you that you guys can check out our sponsors and go to WFOradio.com. Obviously, the Facebook thing is a bit of a bummer on the Super Show, but that's the deal about live. You just got to keep on trucking, baby. You got to keep on trucking, and we'll see what happens. We'll be having Gary Pritchett coming up really soon. But here he is. He's now back. Who's texting you?
John Hall just called me. I don't know why he called me, but he should know I'm on this deal.
Yeah,
I put it out there about 15 minutes, 20 minutes ago for everybody to come on and hear what we had to say and watch the show. Watch the show.
Thank you very much for doing that. For whatever reason, we're having a bizarre technical difficulty with our main Facebook page, but it is what it is, and we'll put it up after the fact regardless. U.S. Nationals winner John Hall, by the way. That's really cool. Excited about John and what he's got going on in the next little bit. I want to talk about championship caliber riding and driving. I'm just watching you in that super slow-mo, seeing how balanced the bike was, right? It looked really good leaving off the starting line, and just thinking about Scotty's quick and Angie's quick and everyone's quick, but you're punching your ticket week in, week out. And I can't help but think about the racing DNA that you and Mike were just talking about. Ricky's your dad, being born around racing and knowing that, reaction times within 20 thou over the course of the weekend, that's how you win and become a champion and win 4, maybe 5 championships.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started my career, I wanted to race motorcycles, but I never knew I could get to the pro stop bike level. I begged George Bryce and Dave Schultz to try to ride their bikes before, just so I could come out here and prove myself that I could be that. And I couldn't do that. So they wouldn't give me the opportunity. So I had to buy my own stuff and start doing it myself. And I guess that's why I have a rental program, because everybody can't do this on their own. And I want to help people and give people the opportunity to do this because it's very expensive. And with my dad's background and I felt like I'm just a natural at doing what I'm doing. I love racing. period. I love racing. It don't matter if it's 2 wheels, 4 wheels, whatever. But the main thing behind our program is just teamwork. You know, with me riding the bike, tuning, and Angie helping build the motors, and my crew guy, Nate Hendricks, that works on the bike. I mean, every piece of the puzzle has to be together to make it right. And that's what we have. We have a complete team right now, and it's just pretty awesome.
It is awesome. And I love what you said about it and giving other people the opportunity. And that's the thing about racing. It's so hard to just get to the opportunity to see if you've got what it takes, let alone actually competing. And you're doing something real special right now. Matt, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on WFO whenever we ask. Now I know the real reason, though. You're dodging the laundry. That's a good move. If the shoe's never on the other foot, man, I'll be calling you up. I don't like doing laundry either. We'll see you in a few days. Hey, what's going to be top speed up there in Sonoma?
If we have a little tailwind, 204.
Yeah, that's why I asked. Yeah, that would be nice to see. Crack that crazy number. And I know Eddie's fast and you're fast, and it's going to be fun to see how we can just push that up there. I think we started the year talking off like we want to see 203. We want to see 204. We want to see these numbers. And I think it's bringing a lot of attention to the bike. So keep on going. Thank you. And say hi to you.
All right, will do. Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me on.
There you go, Matt Smith. Later, Matt. Well, wait, Matt, you there still?
Yeah.
Let's do a quick transition. We got Team Capco there, Gary Pritchett and Bobby, and I know that they stopped by your pit with the horn and
yes,
blow the celebration horn. What was that like?
Oh, I loved it. That's one of the Capco boys' traditions is that big air horn going through the pits, and you know, what a treat for them to come over and finally let me get to do that. I mean, I've won a lot of races with them, never got to do it. So thanks, Gary. Thanks, Dom. Thanks, Bobby, for letting me do it. Thank you, Steve.
We look forward to doing it many more times.
Yes, sir.
Go.
Good luck to y'all.
All right. There goes Matt. Thank you, Matt. And we got Gary. Gary, you're riding alongside. Bobby doing the driving. Gary does the clutch for Team Capco. And you get to represent the team in the Winterview this week. How you doing there, Gary?
Doing good. We're about an hour from Sonoma. Looking forward to the next stop on the Western Swing, and trip's been going great, and looking forward to some good racing.
Yes, well, the racing has been going very well. It's amazing what you guys are doing. I know you've been part of a team. Haven't you been on the team for all of Steve's wins or most of them? What's the stat?
Yes, I've been on the team for every win, all 45 of them, and started with him in the beginning of 2012, and it's been it was tough in the beginning. We were fortunate the first year. 2012, we won 3 races. 13, we only won 1, and it was kind of a dry spell there for a long time until we had we finally got a good group of guys, and Bobby Lagana came on, and it took us a while to kind of get it all together. But once 2016 came around, from 2017 on, we've done very well and been very successful.
Well, it's been amazing. The 3 championships in a row. You got a 300-point lead. Let's talk about this particular race. Going out there and, beating Rob Passy first round, getting the bye run second round, but then you got to go through Salinas, which I bet that was easier than running Joey Haas. I want to hear how you guys handled the day, but don't talk about the final round just yet, because that had to be stressed.
Yes, it was. Going to Denver, it's obviously very tricky. The conditions are different than everywhere on the whole circuit, the altitude and everything. But Hagan and Bob have kind of developed a really good tune-up over the last couple of years, and we've kind of just stuck with it and just ran with it, and we've done very well. And we qualified a very good Friday night. Only car to make it down the track. It was pretty cool for that 377. And the next day was like, we only had 3 night runs, it kind of seemed like, so we knew Sunday was going to be very hard to tune, as far as we're going to be racing on a really hot racetrack, and we didn't get a chance to run on that all weekend. So we kind of set up, Grubby and those guys, they always throw down, and they always run those really big numbers and speeds, and we knew that was going to happen, and they ran a 71, and we weren't going to be able to outrun that, but we wanted to kind of set ourselves up good for race day and kind of just keep on our program and not try and run that number. So Sunday it was tough to even get past first round. You never know what's going to happen up there, and that kind of set us up for a bye second round, and every year we usually drop a hole or smoke the tire second round. So for us, that was kind of what we were looking for. And then, obviously we go out there and race our buddies, Salinas, in the semis, and we always know those guys are going to run great. We got to run as hard as we can to beat them. And it was just another good race every time we raced them. Just like when he raced Billy in Epping, it was so close. It's always such a good race because that team over there, we know all them. We love those guys. They're really, AJ, Brian, all those guys, we always know they can run faster, quicker, or run right with us. And they're always going to be there. So we got to do the best we can.
Amazing. No, a great race. And then the final round, though, you're going up against Joey Haas. And you're not going to be the fan favorite, right? The Cinderella story, who's catching all these breaks and getting when you're a racer. When it's your day, it's your day, and when it's the other guy's day, that's tough to deal with. And so, how did you prepare to go up against the racing gods?
It's tough because you knew you were going up against the racing gods, and we had some issues in the semis with the clutch. Some things happened, and we had to put a whole different setup in there, and it was just kind of just throw it in there and see what it does. So we're like, well, if it's going to work, it's going to work. If it's not, it's not. But to race somebody like Terry Totten and those guys, and Joey Haas, great driver. Terry Totten's got a really good handle on that car. You kind of know it makes you more nervous than racing any other guys out here, especially because we're most of me and Bob and Dom and all these guys on this team, we all grew up racing like that. We didn't win races. We were kind of there, and there was a couple times, Dom was able to make it to a final round of the race, and it was one of those things. He was racing like Tony Schumacher or something. It's like, well, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But they made a really good lap. If anything happened, they were there to take the win, and they kept us honest. They kept everybody honest that day. They did a great job, and I'm very proud of them.
Absolutely. Well, and the sport needs that. That's what keeps them going now. They're hooked for life. That's it.
It's exciting. When you win against them, it's like, man, you kind of really wanted to see them win. You hate to say that, but I would have loved to see them win. I would have went over there and probably tackled all of them. But hats off to those guys. Again, just very proud of them.
Talk a little bit about the energy and the chemistry that you guys have at the Capco team. You're doing something historic. Obviously, Alan and Tony together, I guess it was 2008. That's the season. That might be impossible to beat the way things are right now, but you have this thing going where everybody is loving this moment. They don't want it to end, and they're fighting to make sure that this moment of success that you're in continues as long as is possible.
Yes, we all know, Bob says it's the best. We're very fortunate. That's his word. But you just we're very lucky too to be a part of this, and we're lucky to have team owners like we have that give us the best stuff possible. We have a great race team. Every guy on the team just really loves what they're doing, very passionate, cares about everything. We hear a lot of people say you guys celebrate like crazy every time you win, but the reason we do that is because you never know when it's going to be your last win. You got to enjoy every second, live every moment. One day you'll look back at it and be like, wow, we really did that. You'll tell your grandkids about it, or just friends and family. And, you just live in the moment. I'm living in the moment.
Well, I love it. Let's go back to the moment where Steve won and watch Steve Torrence win again up on the mountain.
Cylinders out for Joey Haas, and Steve Torrence streaks to a win. 3.860 seconds at 320.36 miles an hour. Joey Haas 4:14.2 at 262. The cylinder misfiring, but the engine ultimately holding together throughout the course of an entire day without the cylinder heads coming off, and that in itself is amazing.
It really is impressive. And for Joey Haas, I'm pretty sure that when they advanced beyond the first round, they won the race.
Yeah.
So they really had nothing to lose. And what they ran, the kind of performance with one cylinder out, not firing, is very respectable. So a great job by this driver, very good job by this team.
How about that, Gary? They didn't pull the cylinder heads off all day. Someone who is very experienced, explain to us how significant that is. Oh, somebody called him. That's it. He pulled the Reinhart. We'll get him back. Gary's back. He's now back. We see you. So not pulling the cylinder heads off, Gary. What's that like?
I don't have the sound. Where's the sound?
Yeah. There you go. How about now? Can you hear me? Can't hear me. Oh, there it is. Come back through. Come back through. I'm going to kick you out. You're going to come back through. And in the meantime, we'll watch Steve Torrance give his winner.
Man, I'll tell you what, man, complete respect to the whole Titan team. Joey Haas, that young man right there, you know, some days you're lucky, some days you're good, but that guy right there, he made it no matter how they got there, because you got to turn it around every round and get back up here, and they done it. Man, he went up there like a pro, and proud of him. Never met the young man till today, but a lot of respect for him, and I hope I get to race him a lot more. Complete. All the glory goes to God. I mean, the success that we've had with the Capco car and the Capco boys, and just everybody that stuck with us, Red Line, Mac Tools, thank you. Vandermeer, badass racetrack. Fans, the best there are. They come out here every year, year after year. I'm sorry that we missed last year, but we're back. So thank you guys so much. Woo! Yeah! Woo! Yeah!
Steve on the top end of the racetrack. Gary is back. Gary, we just watched Steve give his winner interview at the top end of the racetrack on Fox Sports 1. Talk a little bit about those Vandermeer fans. Like, were they as great to you as they were to all of us?
They were. I mean, that's one of the best races we go to the entire year. Just to, right before you start the car up, to look up and see all the people there and the cheers when somebody makes a good run, or if somebody wins that they want to win, to hear the crowd roar. I mean, that's what we need at every race. I mean, the Vandermeers do such a great job. Norwalk, the Baders, we need more of that. It was pretty awesome to be a part of, and we heard that Sonoma's going to be a lot like that this weekend, and we look forward to it, because when you race, it just means so much more to win and race when you get to do it in front of a group of fans like that.
So you've been referred to by some of our listeners as like the top clutch guy in the business, and certainly you've got the resume and the championships, but you're also a driver, and I have some photos from earlier this year when you were at Atco running the funny car with Joe Morrison, and I just wanted to mention about your driving career. There's Gary in the cockpit of the race car, Bob Z driving the Bunny Burkett car, and we have spoken in the past about Bunny and how meaningful she was to you in your career. Just how big of a thrill is it to be able to bring that car out and put on a show on an off weekend from the big show?
That's my hero. That's the reason I am where I am today. Bunny is she's got a lot of Bunny's boys out here. There's Aaron Caves on Salinas' car. He's the car chief over there. We got Adam Cave on Antron Brown's car. You got me. You saw on Bob Taska's car. There's 4 of us out here full time right now that we all came from what we would call the Bunny School of Drag Racing. She kind of raised us to work on the car. We didn't, we worked for food. We worked hard, and that's all we did. And then we, every time she got us trained just right, we kind of went top fuel racing or funny car racing, and she had to train somebody else, but she'd always get mad, but we always still came home. And to do that, I mean, that's my favorite thing to do. I mean, we want to carry on that legacy forever. We actually have a October 2nd this year at Budds Creek, Maryland. We have a tribute race that we've been planning for a long time now, and that's at Budds Creek, Maryland, October 2nd. It's a tribute race, and it's we've got 24 cars coming in honor of her, just showing up and making runs, a Chicago-style race. The low ETs from first round come back for the final, and there's, a lot of good guys and girls that we've raced with over the years that are all coming, as well as their normal Supercharger showdown, and we can't wait for that. And like I say, we just want to keep the legacy going forever.
Amazing. No, that is tremendous, and I agree. That's October 2nd. As we get closer, we'll have you back to promote it. Like, I want to promote that. I want to pack that place for Bunny. That is great. Now, Gary, you in the lighting world, I worked hard to get my lighting decent here. We're getting so much light on your face, it makes me want to see what's out the windshield. Can you share what's out the windshield for us? This is life on the road, brother.
We're 45 minutes from the track.
We're 45 minutes from the track. We got Bobby Lagana behind the wheel. He's got his fat head sunglasses on.
We're going to go for a good deli sandwich.
Yeah, we're going to our favorite place called Angelo's. It's right near the track. If you're in the Sonoma area, go try it out. They have the best deli sandwiches.
I know that.
And this is our view. we're getting close.
Life on the road. No, it must be so much fun to be able to get out there. Race fans, seeing you guys, world champions heading down the road. Bob told us last week, I didn't really understand that Bob was driving I didn't understand that. And you guys got to sweep the swing.
Yeah, Bobby and I drive this truck we have for years together, and most of the year we've had Dom in here with us. It's been great. He's not here for the swing, but we miss him. It's not the same, but yeah, we're pretty much joined at the hip.
That's
every
great.
guy on the team drives except for Hoagie.
Yeah, he's got to. Hey, he's Hoagie, man. He doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah, he's Hoagie.
Turn those knobs, baby. Gary, thank you for coming on WFO Radio. Now, this was like a super show. In the future, I'd like to have you on and dig a little deeper into your life and your career. But thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. And you guys are winning so many races, man. We're going to have to keep passing it around amongst the Capco boys and getting to know you guys a little bit better. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having us on.
Oh, great job. Appreciate you. Stay safe, and we'll see you in a few days.
See you soon.
There he goes. Gary Pritchett with us here on WFO Radio, our super mega show with the results. And just like that, you get your funny car, Pro Stock Motorcycle, and Top Fuel winners represented. One person, though, that forsaken us this week is Alan Reinhart, who joins us now. There he is. What's up, Alan?
Just living the dream. I am actually in a studio in Indianapolis. Just finished up doing some voiceover stuff for the Kentucky Drag Boat Association, and timing worked out good. So I thought, well, I'll dial in because you told me if you can catch me by 2 o'clock, we can probably get you in. And I know, Joe, you're, kind of a ball buster. If I don't show up, you won't pay me. So
that's exactly correct. No, absolutely. I would have, because of the travel nightmares, man. It's ridiculous for us to even think that we're going to be able to do shows out here on the Western Swing anyway, but we got everybody in. Race 1, we got everybody in, and now you're on and you've been on, and that's success right there.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about when I was watching a few minutes there with Gary and Bobby that I've actually made that drive. I drove Al Hoffman's rig on the Western Swing one time. When you leave Denver, it's pretty simple, really. You just got to push the clutch and you coast almost all the way to Sonoma. So, but I've been on that swing. It's an interesting part of the life, and it's like, you go race, tear down, pack up, drive, unpack, set up, race, tear down, pack up, drive, on the back to back to back when we really don't have a chance to go home. But you really got to love it, and the guys that do it really do love it.
And that is the point of us doing the show, is to share with the fans who care enough to search for more information, the people and the personalities that make this thing happen, because without them and this crazy intensity that they all have, it would not go down the way it does. It would not have evolved the way it does. So I appreciate you making the time. Yesterday, I gave a general assessment round by round. So I want to just kind of talk about the final rounds, and let's start off with Top Fuel, because the Joey Haas story captivated a lot of people. It just shows on any given Sunday, if you show up, things can go your way.
And that's the whole thing, show up and see what happens. And, I've said a number of times over the years when talking about like a Joey Haas type team, okay, that if Scott Palmer's car goes out there and makes the run it's capable of in round number 1, you can't beat them, okay? They're not going to go out there and run 375. And I don't mean any disrespect to Terry Totten or Joey, but they just know that they don't have that car yet. So don't let them get away with making a mistake. The number of times when we've seen somebody in that position where they go up and they both smoke the tires, and maybe Alex Laughlin gets away with it, but you just can't let them get away with making a mistake. And that's exactly what those guys did. They went up there, they were able to take advantage of situations. Leah had a problem on her car, valve cover issue that had an oil leak, but they were there and able to take advantage of that. Clay had a problem with his car when he hit the gas and the thing shut off, but you got to be there to take advantage. And they didn't beat themselves. It would be real simple to go up there in a situation like that and go, okay, well, look, we know how good Clay's running. Heck, he just ran low ET of race day in round 1. Let's go up there and see if we can figure out a way to make this thing run 2 seconds flat. And then you give away the race. But they were just going up there. They were staying within their means. They were doing what they needed to do, and it paid off for them. So, that's one of the great things about NHRA is, for all the money you might have and for all the spare parts and for all the stuff, everybody comes to the starting line with one of everything. And you're one of everything right now. Just have to be better than the other guy or girl's one of everything right now. And, how many times have you seen somebody come up there and run 372 and they get their teeth kicked in? But
Yeah.
how many times have you seen somebody go up there and do what we saw yesterday? Just show up, start the car, see what happens, and end up with your wind light coming on. So you go back and reload and start the car again. The fact that they didn't pull the heads off the car all day long, I think is just fascinating. That's, really an old school deal, but that's because they're not running the car very hard. They're not going up there and trying to run it for all it's worth, where you end up having to change everything and hurt everything. So, good for them. And we'll just have to wait and see what the next Cinderella story is.
Right. We've had a couple this year, Terry Haddock, now Terry Totten with Joey Haas. And I met the kid and went over and talked to him, and they're all wearing equal shirts. And I'm like, I've never met him. I'm like, where's the driver, man? And he's like, I'm the driver. And I was like, you got to have your name on your shirt, man. We got to know, you got to get out of the ropes. It was a great experience. Him and his dad, they're big in a nostalgia scene. They've got a 57 Chevy funny car. And he's going to be on WFO at some point in the future, but it was great. Funny car. We started the show today with Matt Hagan. Alexis was on the show last week, got the mini WFO bump. Just such a good day of racing all around. And Del Worsham was feeling it. Dropped a hole at the hit. Dickie Venables gets his first win on the mountain, and they were really the dominant car. Like, honestly, in this case, the right car won, because they were strong the whole event. All the way down throughout, they were taking it to their competition.
They were, but I really think Alexis had a car that could have run with it, and she had throughout the day. Dropping cylinder number one is pretty rare, and I couldn't tell you why, but it's kind of unusual that would be the one that goes out, but that's what happened. But Dell has been saying all along, we're where we want to be. We're just kind of creeping up on it. We want to have a consistent car. We want to have a car that goes down the racetrack. We will be in good shape when we get to the countdown. And I think they are. They've been semifinal after semifinal after semifinal. This time they go to the final round. So, that car is a team right now that just isn't making a whole lot of mistakes. And, Steve Torrance's team also isn't making a whole lot of mistakes, but they're getting breaks. And that's one of the things that makes them so dominant. Everybody talks about, okay, yeah, he's won 5 races now already this year. You realize, right, that in Epping, he won 3 hole shot races. That means 3 times he went to the starting line with a slower car.
Yeah.
Right. They're not going up there and running everybody over. They're doing what they need to do. When they need to be fortunate, they're fortunate. When they need to be good, they're good. And that's just next to impossible to beat somebody like that. They're winning so many races on intimidation because people come up to the starting line and go, oh my God, it's the Capco boys. We're going to have to do something otherworldly to beat them. And it just doesn't happen. You need to just go up and do your own thing. But I expect Alexis to be in the winner's circle pretty soon. I think that, that she's got a good car. I think you mentioned Dickie Venables. That was one of the real moments of the race for me, because how many times have you talked to Dickie on the starting line?
Now, a lot. I don't want to pick a number. A lot. 50 times.
How many times has he been going, yeah, look at me, I'm the guy?
Never.
How many times has he been just kicking rocks and doing this? Never.
Just walks off, on and off.
Even keel. He's been doing it for so long, and he understands that some days it's going to be great, some days it's going to be not so great, and he's always thinking about the next run. But when they won the final round, he was emotional on the starting line. That's how much it meant to him, because, as you said, he has been trying to win this race for so long as a crew chief, and they finally got it done. So, it's just another one of those kind of neat little moments, I think.
I didn't, the lighting out there is so weird, and it's like in the middle of the day, even when it's the end of the day. Right. And so everyone is leaving the track, and I didn't feel like leaving. And so I hung out, and I went and saw Dickie, and, I went over and I was like, hey man, you got a little emotional. He's like, Joe, I've been trying so hard to win this race, and it is so hard to win this race. You got the Dodge people, they're coming in, and you want to do more for them to just make it happen. And he goes, and that doesn't work. You can't just do more. Like it has to come together. And he had a moment, and then he said, and I got to get Dickie on here at one point, maybe him and Tobler or something, who knows? But he goes, Joe, anyone that leaves, what are you looking for now?
I was going to see if I could turn that light off behind me. It's annoying me.
It's fine. Your audio quality more than makes up for the weird lighting in the background, right? Like
it should be, because I'm in a sound booth. So
I know your audio sounds great. Like this guy has stepped it up. But he goes, anybody that comes and works in drag racing and then leaves drag racing will tell you that as much as it's the cars and the energy, it's the people, and just being with my group of guys and being able to come here all these years and finally score a win, Dodge car, Dodge race, won the race. He just, he said it overwhelmed him. And I thought that was like great.
I agree. It's really nice when, we talk about the drivers all the time. If you get out of the car and go, hey, we were lucky to win today. And I think a lot of the fans get the impression that it really doesn't mean that much, right? If you're not going to get, and now for the crew chiefs and the guys behind the scenes, it's a job. I mean, as much as you love what you're doing, but it's still a job. But everybody out there has something, that means more, whether it's Indy. When Englishtown was on the schedule, there were so many of the cars and drivers came from that part of the world that was the most important race to them. And they would always get emotional. And if you've been chasing one for a long time, like Dickie obviously has been in Denver, it's nice to see him, let everybody know this really is important to me. This wasn't just, okay, we won the round or okay, we won the race, but it really is important. And, even the stoic tough guys every once in a while get one of those that kind of pulls his heartstrings.
Absolutely. And, Monica saying congratulations to Dickie and Alex. Alex Conaway, he goes, I was born the day Don Garlitz went over backwards at Englishtown. I was born for this. And it's like, oh my gosh, man, like that's awesome. And I think about Antron was watching that. And me and my dad were watching that. Like the events that people connect with, pretty amazing. Also had Matt Smith on. Guy's got a bike that is dominant right now. He just told us, I said, hey, what's the top speed going to be at Sonoma? He goes, if we get the right tailwind, 204. I'd like to see that, Alan.
I don't even care. Matt's off my Christmas card list.
Oh, no. What did he do?
He said he was on the run that was going to go 190 in the first round on the bye run, and he shut it off.
What?
After I spent the whole weekend going, come on, somebody, run 190. Come on, somebody. We had, 5 or 6 189 something?
Yes.
He wasn't worried about lane choice. And, he said if he didn't run it to the stripe, he figured he could get through the day without having to change valve springs, which in those things is, let's just say it's not a 2-minute job. Yeah. So he decided to save it, but he went back and looked at the numbers and looked at stuff, and he said, he thinks that would have been the run. So that's it, Matt. You're done. You're off the list. I'll still be nice to your wife, but you're just pretty much done.
That makes sense. Now, did you get a chance to see what Corey Reed did to himself out there? Did you get a chance to see that?
Didn't help. Yeah,
no, it didn't help, but it was sure fun. It was a fun thing to talk about and see.
Yeah. Yeah, no, those guys are, that's one thing that they do over there is they do have fun. They do enjoy themselves. I was surprised, Joey, one of these days, they're those two guys are, I think they need, what they're getting this year is more reps. And that's what they didn't get last year. So I think that, you're going to see some performance. You're going to see that whole team get better. Right now, Matt's just got the field covered. And, obviously the Vance and Hines team is running good. Steve Johnson, I still think is, the breakout star of the show this year, just because of what he's doing and the way he's doing it.
Agreed. And had that fuel issue, but came right back and put any questions right out the window. Everyone's like, oh, what was that with the fuel? And then it's like, nah, man, we got the performance, and they do. I mentioned yesterday when you were stuck in travel, that, Steve's got the bike worked out now. And then the attention turns right back to the rider, right? It's like this weird, you can ride a bad bike well and not win. And then you get the bike right. And then all of a sudden the rider, or the driver in this case, all the focus is on him. Like Steve's got a shot to win every race he shows up at now. It's like he's got him and Matt Smith have the fastest 2 bikes.
Yeah, it really looks like that, and the Vance and Hines guys, I think, are still, I don't want to say new bike blues, because we've seen how quick and how fast those guys are, but they just haven't quite got up with the performance that Matt Smith has right now. You can only keep a secret in this game for so long, and everybody knows that. So whatever it is that Matt has figured out, I don't expect it to be too long before some of the other teams figure it out, kind of close the gap. The interesting thing, though, that Matt said with, almost a smirk in the winner's circle when we brought him down on the racetrack to greet the fans at the end of the race, that they still had something else that they were, I don't want to say holding back, but he's got, he feels like when they catch me here, I already am ready to take the next step. So, they just got a good program right now with all of the bikes and with all of the information and, everything they're doing back in the shop. It just is all clicking right now.
It's all clicking right now. That is no doubt. Let's talk about some of the other winners. The Joe and Kayla Moseris father-daughter double, first since John and Ashley. Like, wow, that was a great story.
Yeah, they're the only ones other than John and Ashley to win father-daughter on the same day. The Wojciechowskis almost did it out at Epping when Iggy's transmission broke in the final round. And who knows if he'd have won that race or not, but he really basically didn't even get to compete. So, no, that was cool. And I've known Joe Mazeris. He's a Phoenix guy. So, way back into the Firebird days 20 years ago, and he's always been a Dodge guy. Kayla basically grew up at the racetrack, grew up coming out there and watching her dad, and drove one of Jim Hughes' cars for a while in stock eliminator. And she certainly is working her way into her own. I think the most impressive stat about the family is between them, they now have been to 6 final rounds and they've gotten 6 trophies. So apparently if you want to beat somebody named Mazeris, you better do it early in the day.
Exactly. Stock eliminator Dwayne Scheitlen had a huge gap between his 2 Wallies. Richard Shute had posted a photograph from like 1979 with a Challenger. That was a great win. Shannon Nicoletti made a point to point out that he's driving a Ford-powered Super Comp car.
Yep.
Darren Dolezal, he mentioned Kyle Seipel, and I thought that is a great way for us to start what's going to be a very fun but also emotional weekend at Sonoma.
Yeah, but you know what? We're going to be there with our family, and that's what it's all about. When somebody in the racing community passes, and especially when it's as young as Kyle was, and just cancer that was, I don't know, the whole thing just is hard to comprehend, right? He goes to the dentist, and the dentist says, "Hey, you got a funny thing on your tongue. You might want to go get that looked at." And that's what started the whole thing. And it just, it was terrible to see what he went through, and he deteriorated and going through, all of the different stuff as he fought. But, it'll be good to be there with family, the racing family, and we will all get each other through it just as we have always done and just as we will always continue to do. Did you notice, did you also, when Darren referenced that, the one final round that he had been in where he lost to Kyle Seipel, did you hear what race it was?
Was it Phoenix 92?
Phoenix 92.
You said 92. I didn't draw the attention to Phoenix 92. Hey, Alan, I finally got a Phoenix 92 reference after all these years.
Yep, it was Phoenix 92. But and that's and Darren, again, that's another Firebird guy, another Arizona guy that I've been around and watched race, and he has had a lot of success on a lot of different things. Actually won one of the Pinks episodes one time, way back when. So he's been doing it a long time, but it was cool to see him break through and finally get his first quali.
Tim Schell in Super Street, Jimmy Lewis back in Top Sportsman, Carrie Stark. We had 3 out of 4 semifinalists were lady racers and an all-female final round in Top Dragster. It's not the biggest deal, but she said that they were having a good time and even referenced Beyonce. Jose Gonzalez, 2 for 2 with that new car. Stephen Bell in Factory Showdown over Leah, and Sean Fink in the Mile High Shootout. Any thoughts on any of those?
It was just a fun event. Leah making it to the final round. I think that, NHRA making an adjustment to the Dodgers needed to be done. And it looks like now, we'll see when we get back to sea level, because obviously the mountain is different. But it looks like they are, where they need to be, where everybody can be competitive. It really wasn't the same without the Fords there. But, congratulations to Stephen Bell. He made it happen. And again, Leah having a good showing with the Showdown car in front of the Mopar people. That was a good deal. Just a nice, clean race, from one end to the other. Other than J.R. Gray having the issue with the Pro Mod, a couple of guys dipped some wheels in the sand, but nobody made it anywhere near the net. And and again, other than J.R., I don't believe anybody traded any paint with the concrete all weekend either. So it was a relatively clean weekend, and it was good to be back in Denver after missing that race last year. It was good to be back in Denver.
Absolutely. And you did something that confused the heck out of me. Alan, the ventriloquist. I gotten so many texts about this that it was funny because I was doing something. I was out on a project and I knew that we had put a video up, but the audio just sounded totally different. Like that, what's going on? And it didn't occur to me until later on that we had no audio on the video and you were just doing the audio live. It was hysterical.
Yeah, it was one of my tech segments that I had done actually in the Capco trailer. talking about the differences that they make to run the cars in Denver. The nitro cars have to go through so many changes to make them competitive in Denver. And I did the video a couple of years ago, and they wanted to put it up in front of one of the nitro sessions and didn't have any audio. And I said, put it up. I said, I know what I said. I can just do the thing again. And so I just kind of had some fun and rolled through it. But yeah,
it's so weird.
Like, quite get myself in sync. It's
well,
like, pick up the pulley, you moron. Come on, I'm talking about the pulley. Okay, there it is. Now I picked up the pulley. No, it was fun. It's just, you got to have fun with this stuff.
And Troy says, thanks again for talking with me in the tower and signing my hat at Woodburn, Alan. My whole family is jealous. And we got a couple of people that are shouting out from your experience at Woodburn. Great job at Woodburn. You told me you're big fish in a little pond at Woodburn. Obviously that worked out well when people are shouting you out here a week later.
Now, Woodburn is a fun race. I didn't say I was a big fish in a little pond, did I? That doesn't sound like me. Woodburn's a neat racetrack, and they've got really hardcore fans and Division 6 racers, and I just love going up there. It's fun. It's a fun event. It's a very competitive event. The golf cart race is legendary. The fact that it was a double divisional, right? So you could stub your toe and then still have another shot at it.
Yes,
it was just I love going up there. They got great fans, and it's a great part of the country. And the racetrack itself is really nice.
Yeah, I'm excited for this weekend. It's the Western Swing, man. It takes a different gear to get out there and get through it. And it's been a lot of fun, both on the fun factor level as well. Like those fans this past weekend were so special. And Gary told us a few moments ago, I don't know if you were on when he said it, that the rumors are that we're going to have another good one this weekend. So let's hope so. And I appreciate you making extra effort to connect with us here today, since we didn't get to connect yesterday.
Yeah, I'm glad it all worked out. I just had a rescheduled flight yesterday, so I was in the air at the time when we were supposed to be doing this. So I'm glad it worked out today, too. Yeah, we got a couple of shows done in the studio this morning and wrapped up in time. So I feel like my streak is back on track.
Yes, the streak has not been broken. This has been great. Alan, thank you so much. Great job, as usual. Really appreciate you.
All right, Joe. I will chat with you soon.
All right. Talk soon. There he goes. Voice of the NHRA, Alan Reinhart, with us here on WFO Radio. Wow. What a show. What a show. A super show. The Results Super Show. The first one we have done since doing the live stream format. When we did the podcast, which you should still all subscribe to, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, write us a review, share it with your friends. It's a great way to hear the audio only. Like some people are listening to audio only right now because they're driving, they're over the road or otherwise. And I'm an audio only kind of guy, right? With a face like this. Should definitely be audio only kind of character. And when the live streaming thing became possible, we started doing more shows, and I started doing independently, right? Like each winner, each time, because not everybody wants to be lumped together. Like what if you get arch rivals or something on the same show? But on this show, because the Western Swing, this is it for the week. We got everybody in, and you know what? We did it, and it worked out. Now, there is the technical issue on the Facebook page I'm very annoyed about it, but I'm just burying it way down deep inside and just moving on. This is a reason to watch on YouTube, right? WFO Radio TV, or have more than one place that you watch, because for reasons unknown, we were unable to link to the YouTube page today, or to the Facebook page. I don't know why, but we'll post it. Don't worry. All the people out there on Facebook who are watching after the fact saying, where was this? It was a bizarre and mysterious problem that I have no idea why it occurred. But that's why you should subscribe to more than one of our channels, either Twitter or the Facebook group. They got the show today, and YouTube got the show today. And for whatever reason, our Facebook page. So the numbers were a little down. Hopefully we make them up, and everyone will share the show and be very helpful to us and do that. All right, put your comments in the comment section, like final comments on Sonoma. Let's get some thoughts on Denver, on Sonoma. And I'm going to tell you about the people who make it possible for me to do this. Genuinely, because I could be off working at my friend's got a small engine shop, and he doesn't have any employees. Like people are just, they're leaving. He's having all kinds of problems with the small engine guy. Do I know anybody out there in the South Florida area that knows anything about small engines? How about you don't have to know anything. You just need to be willing to learn a little something. My buddy is willing to pay, man. He's willing to pay. He can't find anybody who wants to live in paradise that's willing to go to a small engine shop at 8 a.m. and work until 5, right? And that's a problem. I get it, the pandemic and all of that stuff, but that's not the issue here. It's just, I think we're coming up with a shortage of sharp people who want to you don't even need to, you need to be responsible more than even Sharp. He'll train you. Amazing stuff. How about that, Robert? I just gave you a plug. You're so desperate this morning when you called me. Why am I bringing that up? Because he wanted me to come over there. Joe, please. Like, Robert, I can't. I got the show today. Come on, man. Sharpen some blades. That's where we're at. And because of Total Seal piston rings, I was able to choose to do the show, right? But without our sponsors, man, I'm going to help my bud, TotalSeal.com. And I'll probably go end up helping him on a week that I don't have to travel, right? But yeah, man, we're having trouble finding hardworking, good, sharp people out there in the world. All you kids out there, TotalSeal.com. And that's why when I tell you about Samtech, get an education, separate yourself from everybody else, separate yourself. Like, you can be fun and have fun and drink beers and hang out with whoever you want. But isn't it nice to know that you got a career in education and that you can go and always have work? Samtech.edu. So you can spend money on fun things like the Dragster Adventure at Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, $399. Some folks are like, oh my gosh, they're not going to do that. And other people, it's like, yeah, of course, I'll do it for me and all my friends. Go set up a race, your best clients, your salespeople, as a promotional thing, as a corporate, unity building thing. FrankHawley.com. And then there's Marvin Rodak, who gets a shout out from Matt Hagan at the start of the show to do some B2B stuff. Marvin, give him a call. Call him, homie. Marvin's stuff is next level, guys. 817-924-6821. At the beginning of the show, I was panicked that I said the number wrong. Go to the website, WFO Radio, or straight to Rodax, and see exactly what he's talking about. Everyone needs to experience his coffee and his hot sauce and his spice rubs. And the Habanero Endorphin Booster. Habanero Endorphin Booster. You could tell I'm stumbling down the stretch here at the end of the show, but it's okay. I don't mind showing it to you guys. And there you go. All right, final comments in the comment section before we get up on out of here. How great was it to see Gary Pritchett talk about Bunny Burkett and Dominic? And I think we're on to something here with the Meet the Capco Boys segments. And it's true for so many teams. Like, I wish I knew everybody's story. And any of the crew guys out there that haven't yet told me your story, or I don't know it, it's not because I don't want to know it. It's just because there's so much limited time. And it makes my job so much easier, and I enjoy it so much when someone takes a second to pull me over and tell me their story. Hey, Joe, you don't know me yet, but I'm on this and this and this, and this is what I do, and this is where I came from, and that's it. And I always want to hear those things, because you can only make so many connections over the course of a weekend. And, like, you go to the pits with plans to talk to 5 people and you talk to 2 people, because it's really hard to, like, go start a conversation with someone and then say, okay, enough of you. I've learned enough about you and your stuff. I'm going to someone else. Like, that's not how life works. And so I want to know as many people's stories as is possible, so then I can then share them with all of you, and you'll become more diehard drag racing fans, and you'll love the sport and realize, like, if you go to 1 race a year, you got to go to 2. And if you go to 2, you should go to 4. And if you bring a friend, bring 2 friends. And it's not because for any other reason than, we, as in me and Alan and Gary and Matt Smith and Bobby and Dickie Venables and Alex and Hagan and all of those guys and Mike Carpenter and Drag Illustrated, like, we need you. We need fans. We need people who care. We love this sport. We have the best sport in the world. We really believe it. And we have a group of fans, like Mike talking about the people who had a beef with Tony being involved in the sport. Like, what's wrong with people, guys? Really? And I mentioned in my Patreons today that I've binge watched this Ted Lasso. And let me end off with that. Binge watched Ted Lasso on Apple TV, a show that I thought I would not like at all because it's based in soccer. And I don't hate soccer at all. I'm totally okay with soccer. It's just not my favorite thing. But a football coach get hired to be a soccer coach, right? Kind of a mix of Bull Durham and a couple other things. It's actually very good because it's about a guy who is an overwhelming positive energy and optimist. And the negativity of people around him, and it's like 2 conflicting forces kind of going up against each other. His overwhelming positivity and optimism against the negativity of others. And I think that's like what's happening in drag racing. It's like there's negativity out there, but there's a lot of positive people with positive energy. And it's a conflict. And, you know, positive's got to win. And that's what I think is going on. I recommend watching it. I binge watched the whole season. They're only 30 minutes. They're funny. It's cute humor. All right, let's see what everyone's got to say. Jeff, is Facebook working? No, it's not. It's not working today. Right before the show, by the way, I had this thing set up. Oh my gosh. Let me gripe. I had this thing set up since this morning. And then 1 minute before the show, I got Hagan on there. I'm present. Facebook has been deleted for reasons unknown, et cetera, and so on. Yeah. And Mike was ready to share the show, and everyone was ready to share the show on Facebook. And it crapped out on me, man. And what could we do? Live is live. That's it. Got to go. And so we went. Super Show. Thank you. Super Show. Thank you, John. What's up, John? Where have you been? I haven't seen you in a while. Jam-packed show today. Thanks. Way to go, Monica. Appreciate it. One of my Patreons. Monica. Busy show today. Well done, Joe Puppet Master. Yeah, can you tell that I'm flying the plane, putting up all these graphics and stuff? Someone mentioned to me a long time ago that when my eyes go like that, like that it's like, you're not connecting with the audience, man. It's because that's where the next guest is coming from. There. That's where the guest is coming from. The next one. And that is where all the pictures are coming from. Over here. Right? So when I do this, it's because there's a reason. I'm not just ignoring you. Like, come on. I want to show you Corey Reed's hair. And I try to do it when someone else is on there. But it is what it is. Thank you, Jim. This was a great show. Joe, thank you. Let's go to Sonoma. Yes, no show tomorrow. I've got a media thing in Miami tomorrow. Really glad Alan stopped you on Saturday before the Jets to yell fire. Thank you, Eric. My fire thing, like it's kind of the same all the time. And I got to get together with these jet car racers. But it's become a thing. And on this one, I just wanted to mix it up a little bit. And then Reinhart just broke in and said, no, man, you got to do it. People, which is just hysterical and funny. And I like jets. And the jets were great. Bandamere. I told Sporty, hey, those two jet car guys with the burner pop. That's what you got to do. The worst is when you get two jet cars and one doesn't go down or doesn't start. It's the worst. Jeff, I'm on Facebook. It's working. Made the move to YouTube. It works much better. Way to go, Monica. Yeah, subscribe, click the bell on YouTube. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Maybe this is the break. I've been trying to break away from Facebook for a while. And we're putting stuff up on YouTube. From NHRA, Tony Stewart, it is headed your way to drive an all-electric Ford Performance Mustang at the Winter Nationals next week later this year. Get out of here. Let's go to NHRA.com right now. See, right now, talking about like where my eyes are. Now I can't even see you guys. I got a camera in front of me. But, yeah, I don't know if I believe that. Now, the 5,787-foot conundrum that is the Western Swing. I don't see a new story on NHRA.com. But that would be cool. Like, if it happens, I'm not saying Steve is wrong. I would love to see it. Tony going wheels up in the electric Cobra Jet. Yeah. And so Tony was talking to Dickie when I went over and talked to Dickie. And I it's interesting to see the way he's choosing to go about the whole deal. And what Mike told us a little bit earlier, I respect the heck out of it. It's the right way to handle it. But eventually he needs to race in competition. Let's just all be honest with one another. Eventually, Tony Stewart needs to experience drag racing competition at the highest level. And I have not heard from anybody what the plan is. And I haven't read the article. But I think that he'll eventually get to the point where he wants to do that. Great show, Joe. I'm subscribed on YouTube and Facebook. Safe travels. Yes, look at this. I'm still looking for that interview with you, Joe. Welch Racing, car number 2388X. We are a sportsman team in the IHRA seeking recognition and more exposure and coverage. So, I appreciate the aggressive nature to just ask for the interview. We're going to talk about, winning races and success, and I'll get to know you a little bit better, and we'll see how it goes. There's so many racers that are so deserving to be on the show. Blake, great show, says Blake. Thank you, Blake. It's working. I've been on the whole time. In the group, there's a difference. We have a WFO group where everyone like shares little funny anecdotes and memes and stuff. Got some cool people in the group. The group worked. The page didn't work. Shared a Facebook page show and then had to share the YouTube show. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know what's up, guys. AJ kept playing your fire over and over again on the computer. How do you do that? Fire. Yeah, maybe that's a new t-shirt. NHRA Stoney Stewart will drive. Well, why can't I get it on my NHRA.com? Is it like my national dragster that comes a month after everybody else? Where am I missing this? Is it down in the story? I'm scrolling down. Where is the story? All right, let's bring it up. Let's do it the way everybody else does it. And yeah, I'm stuttering and stammering a little bit right here, but no, I can't get it. I can't copy and paste it. Refresh my browser. My browser's refreshed. Whatever. Everybody go and look at it, and I'll read with you guys after the fact. Let's get up on out of here. Yeah, the browser's refreshed, man. I know about refresh the browser, Steve. I'm not a baby, Steve. Headed out on the Western Swing, race 2, Sonoma. And then Pomona. Los Angeles, baby, the birthplace. Oh, I love it. I'm super excited. I'm going to try to hit an In-N-Out burger. Get myself a double-double with cheese, fries, animal. It's going to be great. And this Tony Stewart electric Cobra Jet thing, I believe it. I see the link. I just can't get the link. I'll get the link in a month after everybody else got it, just like my national dragster. It's because I'm in Florida. I'm far away. It's on the camel's back. I don't know. Whatever. So thanks to all our guests. Matt Hagan, Mike Carpenter from Drag Illustrated. Mike is great, son of Charles Carpenter, and like him and Matt Smith had a nice, I like the handoff, right? From Hagan to Mike, from Mike to Matt, and then from Matt to Gary, because they did the horn thing, and then we cut it off and we had Reinhart be separate. That was kind of fun. And I'm amazed it all worked out. All right, everybody. This is the last show of the week. The archive is loaded. We got a lot of stuff up there on that YouTube channel. Some quick clips. We need you to share everything, all our stuff. Let's recruit some new fans as we get ready for the Western Swing. If you're out there in Sonoma, I will have WFO stickers on me. If you see me, ask me, because that will remind me to have the stickers. In Denver, I had stickers. I didn't hand out any stickers. What's wrong with me? We're doing our best, guys. Doing our best. Monica, safe travels. Stephen Glenn, I always thought I would like to be on the road with the team, but I was afraid of the pressure. Yeah, there's only one way to know whether you can stand up to the pressure. And even if you break from the pressure, it's a learning experience for the next time. It's not like you're only under pressure one time in your life. You learn, you move forward. WFO.